Hey everybody, it's Farmer Teddy here at the John C. Campbell Folk School Gardens to give you another tour. I'd love to show you the way everything's growing right now because all the summer stuff is really starting to come along, but unfortunately we have this frost coming in both Friday and Saturday night. It looks like Mother's Day frost, which is really late for us. Last year our last frost was around March 12th, so we're looking at almost 2 months after our last frost last year. So today I'm gonna show you a little bit of what I do to protect from frost when it comes in late like this. Although I will say that I've never had frost come in May in the 10 years that I've been farming. So hopefully everything works out and we come through this without very much damage, so fingers crossed. So we'll take a look around here. As you can see, everybody's pretty covered up. This is the cut flower section, so I've got a lot of frost sensitive flowers, mostly sunflowers and zinnias in here. And then over here, the sweet corn all covered up. So what we've got here is floating row cover, which is a spun-bound polypropylene fabric, and basically it comes in different weights and different sizes. I mostly use it for insect protection, so this is really light grade. It'll only give me 1, maybe 2 degrees in terms of raising the temperature at night, so not super heavy. Other than using the row cover, I use sprinklers for frost protection sometimes. So as you can see, I've got them all set up here for the strawberries. So I'll put it on a timer, and early in the morning on early Saturday morning and early Sunday morning, I'll have the sprinklers come on, and hopefully it will prevent the frost. And it does that because the water itself is coming through underground. And in theory, it's somewhere around 40 degrees or so, and that is a good bit warmer than freezing. So hopefully it will keep the frost off. Not a whole lot I can do about, we've got a lot of blueberries that have set fruit, and apples, and I'm not sure what this late frost is going to do to all of that. Might not be a great fruit year. So coming over here, you can see I've still got some things that are uncovered, and they will remain like that. It's all lettuces and brassicas, so these are cabbages and kales in here. Of course, they don't mind it being so cold. They actually prefer it. The lettuces and cabbages and kale can take frost damage, but that usually doesn't happen until around 27, 26 degrees, and it looks like we'll have a low around 30 or 29, so still in the safe zone for a lot of this stuff. Okay, so in front of us here, I've got all the summer squash and zucchini and cucumbers covered up. Since it's on this black plastic, it'll stay even warmer. What happens is the ground kind of charges up with heat, and then slowly through the night releases it, keeping the plants warmer, and the air bubble inside there and the tunnel under the row cover helps hold all that in place. So that's basically how it works. And in front of us here, I've got this monstrosity that I've created to protect all the tomatoes. Since the tomatoes already have their trellises, some of them are about 2.5 feet tall, so I've started tying them up, and I can't put tunnels over them, so I had to do some Frankensteining of plastic and row cover here, but I think it'll do the trick unless we have a whole lot of wind and it gets blown off. So I've been spending a lot of time setting all that up. Basically the past 3 days, setting up all this row cover again. I had just broken it down and taken it all down late last week, because we've been about 3 weeks here without frost and thought it was all gone. But anyway, I'm gonna show you real quick some of the things that you might be able to do in your own home garden to protect from frost if you have some plants out there and you're not sure what to do. But basically you're going to want to cover them up, and I'll show you how to make low tunnels like this without all the materials I have. So if you give me just 1 sec to set the phone up. Alrighty, so if I was building a low tunnel here on the farm, for our hoops we use these plastic coated fiberglass rods. So they're straight but they're flexible. I put one end in one side like that, bend it, and the other, and then I've got a hoop here. So our tunnels here on the farm are a series of these hoops, then draped over with row cover. I buy these hoops from Seven Springs Farm, and assuming that you don't have them, you can do something similar at home. If you've got some rebar, so I've got a couple pieces of rebar here, and some flexible PVC pipe. You can take the rebar, put them in on one on either side of your bed like so. Take your PVC, slide it over this rebar, and you've got yourself a little hoop, okay? Now, the hoops are great for suspending the row cover over the plants, so it's not touching. It also increases the frost protection if the cover isn't physically touching the plant. But you can just lay fabric over the plants, touching them. It just won't protect as much. So after we've got our hoops set up, we would take our row cover, and in your case at home, in case you don't have row cover, you can easily do this with a bed sheet, a light blanket. You can use painter's plastic as well if you've got that laying around. Just make sure that if you're using something heavy like painter's plastic, you're not keeping it on a hot sunny day, because it will get really hot inside that tunnel. This fabric won't hold too much heat. So we pull it over the hoops. It's easier with a buddy. And we're going to want to secure the row cover and keep it really tight. You don't want it blowing all over the place. So here on the farm, I use these landscaping staples like this to pierce the side of the fabric into the ground to hold it in place. I also use sandbags like this that will weight down the row cover. You can easily use big rocks, firewood, anything heavy that will hold the cover in place. And it should give you a decent amount of frost protection. The other option is if your plants are really small, you can actually cover them with jars or milk jugs that you cut. As long as they stay in place, they have the tendency to blow away. But if you cover something up like that, it will also protect it from frost. So hope that helps. I know a lot of people out there, at least in my area here in Western North Carolina, have gotten a jump on their growing already might have beans and corn coming up and everything, and don't want to see all that go. So if you can get in there and get your stuff covered up, it should help prevent your veggies from taking frost damage. So I hope you all learned something and this video wasn't too long, and hope you stay positive out there, and we'll all survive this frost together.